What's up, guys? This is the Anthem Lights podcast. Can't believe we're actually doing it, but we're here, and it's live. My name is Spencer Kane. I'm here with the rest of the guys.
I'm Chad Graham.
Joey Stamper.
Caleb Grimm.
And we're Anthem Lights.
Anthem Lights.
We're super excited to start the podcast. It's our first one, numero uno, and I don't know, what do we really expect from this podcast? I think we have a lot of expectations, and we'll see what happens, I guess.
I personally have no expectations. I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's just something we've always talked about doing for a long time. And many times one of us will be like, guys, we need to do a podcast. Okay, let's do it. And then we don't do it. So we're just finally like, let's just do it. Let's just sit down and talk and just see what happens. And so here we are.
I just feel like everyone who's cool has a podcast.
It's true.
And I'm trying to get on that level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think when you sit around and talk with your friends about what movies are you watching, what music are you listening to, like in the last couple of years, what podcasts are you listening to is like one of the water cooler conversations. So I think we just want to enter into that domain, and like we're on Facebook and YouTube and Spotify, and we try to be everywhere where ears and eyes are. We want to be here too, and have the conversations here that everybody are having.
I feel like when we're on the road, we're always like into a deep conversation. We always have at least one person be like, why aren't we just on a podcast talking about this? Because it's funny, good content. So
we think it's funny, hopefully.
No, we think
deep
it's funny.
conversation about the Avengers.
But if you guys have ideas and you guys have listened to other podcasts and you're like, yo, this would be so cool if Anthem Lights talked about this kind of thing, send in your ideas to us. We want to hear them. It's anthemlights@gmail.com. Just send us an email of what you think would be cool for us to talk about, and we'll see if we can pick out some cool topics to chat about in another podcast. Yeah?
Yeah.
But we recently put out the Class of 2018 EP. We are in graduation season, so that was a fun project to put together.
Congrats on graduating high school, Spencer.
Thanks, man.
I knew it was coming.
You knew a young
There
joke
it
was
is.
coming.
Just
There it
kidding,
is.
brother.
Yeah. No, I mean, what'd you guys think going into it? I know we did the 2017 EP, but I think we were excited because that did really well. That was like surprising response. A lot of people were like, when's my graduation class thing coming? And so
Yeah, I thought it was a cool project, namely because there were no love songs whatsoever, which is kind of unique. I mean, I don't know any project that doesn't have any songs about romance,
right.
or songs of faith. And so there were no songs including, love or God, really. So it was kind of a unique project in that sense. So yeah, it was cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, when we made the Class of 2018, the Class of 2017 medley, it was kind of the same type of feeling when we made our first mashup. It was like, our best of the year mashups. It was like, okay, well, we're going to have to do this every year.
Right.
It was just a really cool project to be a part of. And specifically, I don't know if you guys know this. I wasn't allowed to walk with my class at graduation. So, yeah, I know.
You didn't graduate?
No. Well, actually,
Wait,
no.
high school?
Wait, no.
No, so I was missing a Spanish credit, one Spanish credit.
Ooh.
My high school was pretty strange. And then so like a week before graduation, they were like, Joey, you're missing a Spanish credit. And I was like, how does that happen? Is that my responsibility to make sure I have all the Spanish credit? But anyway, so I didn't have my Spanish credit, so I couldn't walk with my class, and I had to take Spanish in the summer. And my class was literally only 9 people, so it was like very noticeable that I wasn't there.
The system failed you.
Yeah,
Wow.
the system definitely failed me there.
9 people.
And then literally, I think it was 5 years later, they mailed me my diploma. I never even went back to my diploma.
Congratulations!
But anyway, graduation has
So
always
you were-
been a sore subject after that. So being able to make this EP has provided me a little bit of healing.
Dude, I almost
Therapy. That's so fair. I spent more time than I knew.
I almost didn't walk. I was good in school in every subject but math. Math was just like I just could never figure it out. And it's like I remember I was already out of school. It was like the seniors were done, and I had to get a certain grade on this final test in my math class, and I had to get this certain grade, and I took it the first time with everybody, didn't get it, and the teacher let me come back, and I took it like 5 times that day. I was just in her room, just me, she kept letting me take it, couldn't get the grade. She was like, I just don't know what to do because I needed this class to graduate. And I had my math teacher from last year walk in the door, and she was telling him, I just don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to, he's just only a few points short. And he was like, is he a good kid? Like, he's good. He's a good student. Like, he listens and whatever. So yeah. And he's like, just give it to him. And I was like, it pays to be a good student, even though it really wasn't. I don't know where that came from, but
That's so crazy.
And I walked because of a teacher being gracious.
Must be nice.
That's so crazy you say that, because I had a similar experience where I was failing my senior year math class, and my math teacher was the cheer coach. And so I had a failing grade, and I couldn't go on senior trip. I couldn't graduate if I didn't get my grade up. And so for the final, she just gave me the study guide during the test. So I just literally just plugged every question in exactly as the study guide, like all the examples I had. Oh my God. And I passed with like a D-. So
amazing.
C's for degrees, but that wasn't even a C.
My senior year, we had to like hold up a little sign that like told all the seniors like their little thing. Like, what's your motto you want to leave with the school? We made a video in our TV class, and my poster said, I'm never even here, because I legit, out of like I think 180 days of school, was there for maybe 55 days. Because I was just always gone, and they hated me because I was never at school, and so I don't know how I got to walk. Everyone gave me bad work strength.
We're terrible examples.
Yeah.
Didn't pass Spanish. Didn't pass math. Didn't show up.
I didn't even take Spanish. I just missed it altogether somehow.
Didn't do it credit. Well, congratulations to everyone out there graduating. This is a really big moment, whether you're graduating from high school and going on to college, or if you finally finished up college and however long that took you. Congrats, because you made it. Speaking of graduating, we're all kind of telling stories of our old selves. If you had a little bit of advice, what would you have told yourself as you were graduating, going into college, or graduating college, going into life? What was some advice that you wish you could have told yourself?
Ooh,
that's tough.
I think I would say don't compete with other people. Just compete with yourself. Just try to be better than you were yesterday.
That's good.
Because I don't know. I think a lot of high schoolers get up in their heads. I know I did. I got up in my head about being like kind of where I stood socially and as far as my talent and my ability and my, opportunities. So I think if I could go back and talk to 18-year-old Caleb, I'd say, dude, stop worrying about everybody else and just worry about being better than you were yesterday.
That's good. So good, bro.
That's
yeah,
good.
I can
Preach,
totally relate to that. I would tell my younger self to find Caleb Grimm and ask him what he would tell his younger self.
Nice. I would tell my younger self that you don't know anything. Really, it's like, because back then, like, I remember like just thinking, you had it all figured out, and you knew what you were gonna do, and you knew everything that was going on, and in every aspect. And you look back now, and I'm like, man, 18-year-old Chad, boy, you didn't know anything. And so, yeah, I mean, I think a big thing also was comparison. I think I would tell myself to like stop worrying about comparison. In high school, it was, trying to be popular and cool was just such a driving force that you look back now and it's just like, who cares? Yeah. Like, why? Like, anyways.
If I had to go all the way back a whole year and a half to 2 years ago, because I am so close to when I graduated, I'd probably would have told my younger self to focus more on some musical things. I quit piano, I quit like dance stuff, I quit like a lot of entertainment, different things to go all in with sports. And sports didn't end up being my profession. So had I known music was going to be such a huge part of my life, I didn't know yet. But I wish I would have at least just kept up with piano on the side, or kept up with singing lessons or dance lessons on the side like I was. But I quit because basketball at the YMCA started. I had to be the next LeBron James. So.
Dude, I on a daily basis to this day, I like, so we'll sit down and be like, man, I'm going to learn guitar. And I've been doing that for like 10 years, so no progress made there.
Yeah. That'd be the advice. I was good. I had like really long fingers for like a 10-year-old. I could hit a whole octave at 10. My piano teacher thought that was really impressive, and I was really good at piano. And then I was like, well, YMCA basketball is starting. I don't want to do piano anymore. I'll just spend my time at the gym. And now I really wish I would have stayed.
Did your mom tell you were good? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Did you pay your piano teacher a lot of money?
I think that people have too many friends to be good at piano these days. I think that's the
true.
key. I had no friends, which is why I learned piano.
It's true. Some of the best musicians out there are like,
That's
Morbid
the key.
a little bit.
yeah, it's true.
Well,
It just got really dark.
We win some, we lose some, and some get away.
we get asked a ton of questions, but we always have like 3 repeating questions come up on our social media, at shows, Q&As that we do on live streams, and so we figured why not just kind of put a nice little pin into these questions and hopefully have this be the mark where people can just go back and get our answers so they don't have to keep asking. We can come up with some new questions. But
So at shows when they ask these questions, we'll be like, try our first
podcast
podcast.
number 1.
I won't
Here's the
answer that.
link.
I answered it once, so I won't answer it again.
Right. Well, we want to answer them for all of you that who still may be asking these questions, which is, how did we get our band name, Anthem Lights?
Man,
When I started the band,
Spencer and I were out there.
so when we first started, our name was Yellow Cavalier. And Chad remembers
The
this
worst.
situation. It was a really bad name.
Hold on. So, like,
The car. Yes.
did somebody drive a yellow Cavalier?
So we had a friend at the time who was very strangely proud of his yellow Cavalier. Like, just, I mean, he acted like he drove.
It's like such
He drove a
lame
Lambo.
car.
I mean,
no
yeah.
offense if you drive it.
And it was
yellow.
just, he just acted like, he just thought he was so cool with this yellow Cavalier. So we just, as a joke, called the project at the time Yellow Cavalier, and it just kind of stuck. Well, it stuck until we got to Nashville, and they were like, it's the worst.
Yeah, so management and our label were like, guys, you're really cool guys, and your music has potential, but your name has got to go. So we sat down. I think we locked ourselves in a room with like a whiteboard and had just dozens and dozens of name ideas, and we talked about.
Can you
know,
remember any of them?
Gosh, I think we really liked the word
Green
city.
Corvette.
I think city
I
lights.
get it because it's a color in a car.
that's the joke.
Yeah, I remember we were trying to figure out like what sounds like us, and at the time, our music was very like anthemic, and so we liked the word anthem. We like the word lights, and so we use those in all these different ways.
Yeah.
And our biggest
Like
problem,
Lights Anthem.
our biggest problem that people don't. Our biggest problem.
possible
I remember I loved
combinations.
Northern Lights. I was like, that's it. And then, we couldn't use it because like 10 bands have it. But our biggest issue, people don't realize that when you're thinking of a name, like you can't just think of a name and go with it. You have to it has to be legal. And literally, you do one Google search and if one band anywhere, and at the time it was like MySpace, you would go to MySpace and type it in, and somebody would have that
MySpace.
name, or if it was even close to that name,
Right.
you couldn't use it. And so we would come up. We had like 50 names we liked. That just we'd look it up. Nope, can't use it. Look it up. Nope, can't use it. And so it was a long process.
Anthem
fact,
Lights
they-
was like the last resort.
The fact that Anthem Lights hadn't been taken though, because it's not that difficult. It's not crazy. It's just 2 common words. Like there's a bunch of bands with the word anthem, and there's a bunch of bands with the word light. Like I feel
But
like
not with both.
But not
that's
together.
crazy. That's pretty wild.
until us.
It's pretty wild.
And there you have it. There's the answer to question
Question
also,
one.
Also, just to add to that, the reason that we liked those words, like Chad said, is our music at the time was anthemic. And then we really liked Matthew 5, which says that we're the light of the world. And we liked that concept of being a light, a positive influence in in darkness. And so we put those things together and got Anthem Lights.
Some light bulbs, man. How did we get our name was question 1. So the next question that we always get asked is, how did you guys get started? Where did it all start? Who said, yo, let's make a band?
Yes.
Yo.
I got an idea.
Yeah. Well, we went on this TV show, and I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. We ended up.
So
That was a bad joke.
Okay.
I just instantly thought of like the boy band TV shows from back in the day. Who was
Making
it?
the band.
O-Town.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought of. Anyways,
Because I want it all.
yeah, there you go.
Wait.
I was
That was
thinking
it.
Casey and
That was
JoJo.
O-Town.
Yeah, that was okay. I was going to say. Anyway, carry on,
Anyway,
Chad.
You guys are in the same key too, right?
Nice.
Nice, bro.
If you're listening and not
Fives.
watching, we just slapped 5s.
You heard it.
Slap.
Sound
Slapped 5.
Just slapped 5.
What
he
decade is
said.
this? Oh my goodness.
Slap 5 would be real quick.
Let's go down to the 5 and dime and slap 5s. We'll get a lollipop.
Wow. Can I
Slap
tell my
5s.
story now?
No, we're talking
Anyway,
about
so that's the
5s.
answer to question 2. Just kidding.
I mean, it's kind of a long story, but I was pursuing solo music, and so I ended up in LA after being in Nashville and working on a project out there. It was kind of like a 5-song EP, working with an original member, Alan Powell, on it, and
Chad's
we-
a big deal.
Yeah. Anyways, next. Anyways, and so ended up making this EP, and at the end of the day, we were kind of like, man, it's missing something, and so we ended up realizing we need more voices. We need different voices coming in and out of this and all that fun stuff. So we ended up calling our contacts at Liberty University, which is where I went to school, Alan went to school, and they, told us about some guys that could work for this and who were in groups there. And so we flew in like 2 days later, and we met Caleb, and we met our another original member, Kyle, and heard them sing and heard a few other guys, and then they joined, and then Alan joined a little bit later. He was doing a solo thing too, but he decided he wanted to be a part of it as well, and that's kind of the quick story of how it happened. And then not long after that, well, it seems not long now, but it was an eternity then, we had a label here in Nashville want to sign us, and that was Provident, and so that kind of got us to Nashville and kind of started our journey together officially.
Boom.
Yeah. And then we had a band member quit, and we parted ways with our label, and we met Joe. Well, no, we had a band member quit. We got Joey.
Yep.
Then parted ways with our label because they didn't like Joey.
Because of Joe.
Just
Sorry,
kidding.
guys.
And then we became independent at that point, and then a few years later we got Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dab.
Dope.
Question number 2. That was it.
That was it. How'd you guys get started, and how did you get your name? So question number 3, and this is kind of shocking, but it actually happens quite a bit. What's your favorite superhero and why?
It's deep.
A lot of superhero movies out lately.
I marvel at this question. No, I think my favorite hero. My favorite hero is probably Iron Man, and here's why: because he's a regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he grew up as a rich kid, so I would say that sets you at a disadvantage in some ways. But he overcame that, and I just admire that he's not like super powerful. He's just really, really smart and clever, and he draws people in with his charm, and he's really funny, and
I like it.
I dig it. I dig the whole Tony Stark thing.
Nice. So my favorite superhero is SpiderMan, and I will tell you why.
Stole mine.
It's because he can shoot web out of his hands, and he can scale buildings very easily because he has sticky fingers and toes. And
Easier if he could fly.
and he fights bad guys, and he can hang upside down to kiss his girlfriend. Very cool.
That's great. Also, I loved in Spider-Man Homecoming, spoiler alert, that Tony Stark is kind of like his father figure.
Just like you're my father figure.
Yeah, right? Real life parallels. I build all of your clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Mine was for a long. I'm kind of torn, guys. I'm back and forth. Okay, I can't decide. I was a big Spider-Man guy, and then it kind of transitioned to Captain America. Really, only because I bought a hat that was a Captain America hat.
Both of those things are tied to a hat that you owned.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, if I buy a superhero hat, I'm gonna like that superhero. It's kind of how it works.
It usually
But anyways,
goes the
and
other
so
way, right?
and so I've been kind of torn between the two. And then in Captain America: Civil Wars, they literally fight each other, and I'm literally watching it like, this is gonna decide it. Who's gonna win? But I don't think anyone won. Maybe Captain America did. Yeah.
Massive fan.
I have to go.
away.
I have to go back and watch. Nobody actually defeated
So
anyone.
Yeah, I
I,
don't
have,
think anyone
I
won,
have
I
a
think
story
it was-
about when Chad's love for Spider-Man died.
Ooh.
We were at a amusement park. I
Yep.
forget which one. We went on. Was it the Millennium Force?
I don't know.
And Chad's
Cedar Point?
Spider-Man hat blew off. And we got off the ride, and we were walking around, and we looked at Chad, and one of us was like, "Chad, weren't you wearing a hat earlier?" And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I lost my hat."
Yeah, that's when Spider-Man.
So now, and now he's a Captain America fan.
That's when Spider-Man
The
died in my
end.
heart.
Wow.
Spence?
You know, Joey took mine. I was gonna say Spider-Man. I've always loved Spider-Man and wished to be Spider-Man. But the Christian Bale Batman series was really good.
I feel like that's a little specific.
That's a movie. You
It
just,
is really
you said your
specific.
favorite
That's
movie.
an actual person.
Yeah. But that movie series is why I fell in love with Batman because
Sure.
There it
Yeah,
is.
that's fair.
because
I cut you off.
he was very like real. Like again, he's another human, quote unquote, that
Yep.
that just had a lot of money and technology to kind of build himself around to become this guy that could fight villains. And I loved Joker, so he was in that universe, and I liked Batman. I liked his thing. I liked those movies. They were really well done superhero movies.
Can Batman be a superhero if you don't
Yeah,
have any
that's why-
abilities?
Hold on a second.
I don't know.
Same with Iron Man.
Yeah, Tony Stark.
Yeah, but
is-
he has abilities because of, he doesn't even have a heart.
Didn't
He
get a
has
heart?
a heart. It's just that thing takes the shrapnel from
true.
infecting
he
his
made
body.
it.
Right.
Okay.
There's nothing about his biology.
So basically, you can be a regular person and be a superhero, but you have to be very wealthy.
I just didn't like the newer.
According to
I mean,
Bruce
there are
Wayne and Tony
parallels.
Stark.
Bruce
It's hard
Wayne,
to do
very
it
rich,
poor.
lives in a mansion. Tony Stark, very rich, lives in a
Right.
mansion.
And why I clarified Christian Bale series, because I don't like the newer one, because he's starting to fight Superman. I just kind of feel like that's a little unrealistic.
Also, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Superman's gonna lift a building. He's gonna beat up a human. I don't like it.
Yeah, DC's lame.
Yeah.
We just
Anyway.
upset a lot of people.
Well, this was kind of wrapping it up for our first podcast. We kind of just wanted to test the waters and see how it went. But if you guys have any questions you'd like for us to answer, kind of like we just answered the 3 most popular questions, we'd love to see them. That's the same email, anthemlights@gmail.com. And we really thank you guys for joining. Make sure you check out the Class of 2018 EP. And anybody have any final thoughts, kind of like what we've learned today?
Today I learned that I'm Joey's father figure.
Today I learned that 2 of my bandmates are really bad at math.
I don't think we talked about Matt. Oh,
We did talk about
yeah,
math.
we did. Yeah, we did.
Remember when both Chad and I failed math
Yeah.
and then started a band together?
Yeah.
What did I learn? Today I learned that Joey didn't graduate high school.
Mind blowing.
That was, I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Well, I mean, technically I did. I think I have my diploma. It just took like 5 years.
Okay, whatever
Did you
you
ever
say.
take Spanish?
Yeah, I took it that summer.
Have that?
And literally, I know like we're jumping way back to the very beginning of this talk right now. But I just remembered an important detail. I took Spanish, and then I called up my school like, I took Spanish. Can I be graduated now? And they were like, yeah, $200. And I was like, I don't really care about having a diploma. So I never got it until like
Doesn't really
5 years
matter.
later, and they just. I guess I won that fight.
It's kind of ironic you have a Spanish girlfriend who actually doesn't even speak Spanish.
She's Mexican.
Mexican. Dang it!
Spanish is from Spain.
And you're racist. I'm just kidding.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah.
Today we learned Chad's a race. No,
Spence, what'd you learn, dog?
I learned that Chad didn't know that Tony Stark had a heart. He thought that Iron Man didn't have a heart because of the thing in his chest. That's what I learned.
Replace his heart?
He didn't. He didn't. That's
Figure it
to
out.
just magnetically take
Agree
the
to
shrapnel
disagree.
away.
let's go back to the canon.
Where can they find you guys on social media?
You can find me, Caleb, just my name. It's Instagram and Twitter at Caleb Grimm.
Mine is Joseph Stamper. I'm very official. I use my government name for my socials.
What is mine? Mine is Chad M. Graham.
Chad M. Graham.
At Chad M.
Like it.
And mine is at Spencer Kane Music. So you guys can find us on the social media, hit us up about whatever we talked about today, and comment on different topics we talked about. But we appreciate you guys for listening,
Yes.
and hopefully this is the start of many, many more podcasts
Yes.
to come. They will be improved and even better than today. So
If
thank you
that's
so much.
possible.
It's Caleb, Joey, Chad, Spencer.
We out.
Ready?
We out.
Outro music, go.
Nice.
Hey,